I love.
nervous.
No, my God, don't be nervous. Are you kidding?
Hi everyone, I'm Claire Saffitz. I am continuing my tour of Austin, Texas. I'm having the best time so far. The next stop is a place called Comadre Panaderia. There's a baker there named Mariela Camacho, and she is going to show me how to make conchas, which are a Mexican pastry, and again, something that I love eating, so I'm super excited. Let's check it out. So tell us a little bit about conchas. It's really, like, it's a pastry I love, but I've never made them before.
Mm-hmm. They are like what you identify with like Mexican baked goods. It's like what we always had around. It's like the image. Like people use it all of the time these days. So it's essentially a bread. It can be just like an enriched dough, a brioche. Everyone makes it differently, which is beautiful. Everyone has their own version, which I love. It's essentially an enriched dough with a cookie topping, and then you stamp it in the shape of a shell.
And conchas means shell, right?
Conchas means shell.
There you go. So have you ever seen those like beautiful domed pastries with that like colorful shell-shaped topping? That's what a concha is.
That's a concha. Yep.
Awesome. So what are we going to be making today in terms of flavors?
So we're going to be making the brioche dough, classic, just an enriched dough brioche-like, and then we're making a chocolate shell and a vanilla shell.
Cool. Is it typical that you have like one like plain dough and then you're doing different color shells?
Yes.
Or the dough also can be flavored?
Typically not flavored. It's usually just the shells, and even the shells like won't be different flavors. They'll just add like food dye.
Okay.
They'll have pink and yellow, and your chocolate one has cocoa, so it flavors it. But really like all the same flavor.
Okay. And so chocolate is traditional?
Not
and then
putting chocolate in the dough. That's something that I just do because I love chocolate. That's that simple. It's literally that simple.
I'm from New York, which is not a town known for its like Tex-Mex or Mexican food. So my goal in Austin is to like do as much kind of like eating and learning about the cuisine as possible.
Right on.
So yeah, so conchas was like top of the list, like a pastry I've eaten in Mexico and love, but like would love to learn how to make. So thank you for showing me.
Yeah, absolutely. I use like 3 different or 4 different types of flour because I'm extra like that. So we have Barton Springs Mill in town. Beautiful, like stone milled flours, right? They also do a strain of Sonora flour, which is like a soft white wheat, and then Yocora Rojo, which is like a harder winter red wheat. So we use both of those. Beautiful flours, some cane sugar, water to loosen up the dough a little bit. You can use milk if you want, but there will be enough fat in this. Salt, and we use instant yeast. Yeah, you can do sourdough. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I just prefer it with yeast.
And you said that everything here is naturally leavened except the conchas.
Except for the conchas, because it's just right. It's just right, and I love it. So I'm leaving it. Yeah. Cool. And then cold butter, cold eggs.
So for the shell ingredients, you said it's kind of like a cookie-like
Pretty
mixture?
much, yeah. It's like melon pan, or like it can be like a choux topping, like a cracklin, you know? It's just butter. It can be really any type of fat. AP flour, salt, and then we sift powdered sugar and whatever flavors we want to add in. And that's it. Yeah, for the vanilla, same thing, minus the cocoa, with the addition of vanilla extract and vanilla bean.
Cool, super easy. All right, so dough hook?
Dough hook, oh yeah. So we'll want to start with liquid first. I prefer to do liquid because sometimes if you do the flour, it just doesn't mix up as well. So personal preference.
Okay.
So we'll do eggs, water, sugar, and then our yeast.
And the yeast, okay. And eggs are cold?
Eggs are cold.
Starting at cold. Yep.
Absolutely. Cold eggs are going to be super helpful because we're going to beat the crap out of this dough, just straight up. Like we need to like develop this dough so much that we want to start off with colder ingredients so that the dough doesn't heat up and then the butter just like oozes out. We want the butter to just like everything to love each other.
Yeah, I've definitely made that mistake with brioche because the friction of the mixer like heats it so much that you have to start with cold. So should we get this mixing?
No, I'll actually just
flour
dump,
right in?
Yeah, just dump all of your flour in. Again, it's the Yocora 85, the Sonora 65, and the Sonora whole grain. So like really heartier, really flavorful flours. And then I always do my salt last so it doesn't like touch my yeast or do any of that stuff.
And so that, like, what is the percentage of whole wheat in there?
It is 33%.
33, wow, pretty high.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
But it's, again, it's a Sonora, so it's like softer white. It's like really pleasant, beautiful texture. It's great for like cookies too. I love the flour so much.
And it's gonna just add a lot of flavor.
It really does, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so low?
Yeah, we can do it on low.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're just all gonna let it start coming together.
Okay.
And we can sprinkle in the salt too.
Okay.
Yeah. We can probably end up bumping it up too. And we will have to like help it out and kind of take the
Scrape down the sides.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit too.
Ooh.
Ooh, look at you.
I know.
You're gutsy. I love it.
It's just not my hand. I made that
your
mistake. Never again.
So we'll actually want to make sure that everything in the bottom's looking good. So we'll stop the mixer, use a spat or like a bowl scraper to just get everything on the bottom.
Okay.
Because it drives me crazy when you like think your dough is done and then you go in there and there's still like the tiniest bit of like dry bits or something.
Yeah. Also like a good reason to do the wet first. So you're not getting that like hidden dry on the bottom.
Absolutely. And we'll just let it go another 30 seconds and then we'll start letting it rest. And it starts off as that little ball again and then it'll get loose. Yeah, it's really cool. So we're just gonna let it sit like this.
Okay.
Uncovered, just resting for 10 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we'll start introducing the butter into it.
Awesome. So while that's resting, we'll go ahead and mix the shell.
The shell, the topping. Yeah.
And it's kind of basically like a cookie dough.
It's a cookie dough, like really like any ratio you want. We do like some wild stuff around here. You can do like fruit powders, teas, all kinds of weird
Anything
stuff.
kind of like fine and dry that will.
Because
you don't want to add really like, I guess, liquid.
I've tried.
Yeah.
It does not work.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And I like to toss the butter. I like to like cut the butter up a little bit. And then I like to like if you were like doing biscuits or something, like toss the butter in the dry a bit first.
To kind of get it coated.
Yeah, and then just start mixing it. We're looking for it to just come together, not really be shaggy or anything like that. And depending on your butter temperature, that will kind of, you know, dictate how fast it goes.
So you're going for like butter fully worked in, no pieces of butter.
Absolutely.
Okay, like cookie dough.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, you really are way faster than mine. Okay,
yeah.
I'm going as fast as I can.
You know what, the cocoa? Oh, I should have done the cocoa. Because of the cocoa, actually, it does take longer to mix.
I feel better.
Yeah. No, it's not you.
That's normal. Okay. I'm like, I feel like we've been doing the same amount of time.
No, it's totally the cocoa in it. It just like, because it's not flour, it's just behaving differently. Yeah. And then when it does start coming together, it's gonna want to come together really fast.
Okay, thanks for saying that.
Yeah. Can I start weighing these out?
Oh yeah. So talk about sort of the portioning. You said the weight on the dough is
65.
Oh, 65. Okay.
65, and then we do our cookie topping for 20 grams.
Okay.
So this one's like really easy to work. I'm sorry I gave you the hard one.
No,
this one is so easy. And I'm just like estimating 20-gram pieces. Just kind of ripping it off. If it was warmer in here, if the butter was warmer, it of course would be behaving differently.
Yeah. There's no like overworking it because there's so much butter, right?
I've never overworked
it. It's just gonna be like a tender, crunchy, sugary.
Yeah. Like the only thing that sucks about mixing it too much is that then it gets like a little bit harder to handle. But that's it.
It's like softer butter.
Exactly. But other than that, I've never had any issues with it.
Nice.
But we'll just kind of line up all of our little balls. You can time this up so that after you shape your dough, you just smack them right on. But I might give them a little bit of time in the fridge.
Okay.
Because I don't like do my shells by hand. I actually use a tortilla press.
Nice.
Because that's easier for me.
Rather than like rolling on an entire slab and cutting circles.
Yeah, or just like one thing you would do is like treat it like a tortilla and like slap them till they like thin out.
I see.
So we'll start introducing the butter while this just kind of hangs out.
Okay, and so the butter has been in the fridge to make sure that's cold.
We'll start it off low so we don't kill the mixer, and as it gets more fat introduced into it, then we'll start bumping up the speed.
Okay.
But I guess in some way you do, I'm gonna lift this up for you. You do have to.
And are you going like one little piece at a time?
I don't. What I will do is like break it in half and then toss it in, and we can go up one more on the speed too. And I'll do maybe like 4-ish pieces, and if I cut it too thick, I'll like, ooh, wow, that's really hard. I'll like
smash
squeeze it. Yeah,
Okay.
because if it's too thick, it just won't get introduced into the dough as well.
Right.
You want it to be like sliding on in there. Like you want it to
Got it.
really be happy to be with the dough.
Got
So,
it. Okay.
And then I wait till it's mostly incorporated. Like if I see like 2 or 3 little chunks, that's okay with me. Because I also don't want to wait too long to where the dough heats up too much. And then Claire's going to be working on that concha dough for a while, so I'm going to be working on our shell topping. So 20 grams. I'm going to stick these in the fridge. Just a little bit.
Nice texture.
It makes it
like,
stable.
Soft enough that they can spread out and not crack.
Yeah.
But like still firm.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it's looking happy. It's like pulling away from the sides of the bowl. It's hanging on the hook. It's like, it's looking strong.
So now, what's the next step?
Yeah, I like to just grab a bit of dough, squeeze it off, and then start checking for a pain.
Okay. It's this texture that I've like for years struggled to find like a word to describe it, but it's almost like
It's like Play-Doh.
it has like this.
I don't know. It's like, yeah,
Look at that.
it's strong, but it's flexible. It's happy.
That is
Yeah,
that is
it's
a
pretty
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, your dough's not ready if you can't stretch it that far without it like breaking, creating those little holes.
Right.
And I have found that you can overmix it. It's a little hard to overmix it, but it will actually start losing its like elasticity if you like take it too far.
Right. And so you said that you might add a little bit of water at some point, but
No,
this feels
this
okay.
is good. Yeah,
Okay.
this is good. With those like whole grain flours in there, it can you know, you have to adjust.
Right.
But this is looking pretty happy. Like we're able to
so
pull.
fun to play with.
Yeah, it is. We're able to pull a nice window, which means it's like fun and hydrated.
Yes.
Yay.
Look at that. Amazing. You have 2 little proofing.
Yeah, 2 little oiled
Boxes.
containers just so our dough doesn't stick too much to it, and we'll just eyeball half of it to become plain and the other half our chocolate. And then I'll just like make it kind of nice. So I'll just like give it a quick little, so that we've got a smooth top and it just rises a little bit more evenly. Give it a
Okay.
bit of a push down, yeah.
And then just a quick mix with the chocolate.
Yeah, pretty much. Because again, we don't want to destroy all of the gluten that we built up by overmixing. We are so
Cool texture.
privileged in so many ways. We have our friend Ashley from Ijita, who's like importing the cacao, roasting it, grinding it all up here in Austin. So
Wow.
I have access to fresh Mexican chocolate. This chocolate's from Tabasco. It's just beautiful. It's a little tart, but not too sweet. It's 70%. It's just beautiful to work with.
70%.
70%.
Perfect.
Yeah,
It's
so
like a
dark
perfect
chocolate.
baking percentage.
Yeah. So it's like kind of annoying to shape because you're working with big chunks of chocolate, but again,
Worth it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you just want to make it a little bit nice and then stick it on in there. And it'll like sit out at room temp between 3 to 6 hours.
Okay.
Honestly, just depends on how happy it is.
Right. So you give it time at room temp to kind of like jumpstart.
Yeah,
a little.
yeah, it's gonna double in size. It's gonna like totally do its fermentation. We'll then punch it down to degas it and make it stronger. Stick it in the fridge overnight. Because working with a dough that's got this much butter in it is gonna be,
Totally.
it's gonna not be that much fun. So, yeah, that's why we let it get cold after fermentation.
That dough, that'll be at room temp, and then that goes into the fridge overnight. But then you have one that you made from yesterday.
Exactly. So the dough's been fermented, it's been punched down, and it's cold. So we'll get a little bit of flour on it so it doesn't stick to the table.
Okay.
Plop it on out. And we'll do the same with the chocolate.
Okay. I will portion, you said 60 grams.
Yes, please.
And then you'll show me how to shape, and then maybe I'll do a few.
65 grams.
65.
65.
Okay.
Let's give it that extra.
All right, let's see if I can even get remotely around 65 grams. Not even close. 66.
Nice. Close enough. So flour is your friend with this dough. Like I'm okay using the amount of flour that's needed
Yeah.
to make it happen. I
Right.
really don't mind. So I'll just give it a little bit of a pre-shape and then I'll just start tightening. And you can see it's like sticking to the table.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where
more
you don't want to
flour.
like labor it too much because it's just gonna work against you.
It is. Like it'll start ripping, it'll stick to the table too much, and you're just looking for it to really like, you know, be nice and tight. And then I do push them down. And that helps me
okay.
a lot. Yeah.
So
we
then
don't
you're
keep
getting
them
that
too round.
surface for the shell.
Exactly.
Got it.
I love shaping dough. If I could do like one thing all day, it would just be shaping dough. I love it.
So you want to like stretch the gluten around it, but not, again, like not to that point where it's like tearing
It gets mad at
that
you.
surface. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just continue to portion and shape the plain and the chocolate, and then we'll move on to the shell.
So we are going to egg wash our conchas. It helps give a little bit of color when browning in the oven. Plus it helps our little baby shells like stick to it.
And this looks like, is there some cream in here?
There is. It is whole eggs and cream.
Cool. Oh, look at this brush.
Yeah. Oh, it's been through some stuff. Let me tell
This is
you.
seeing some stuff.
Yeah, I've had the brush for a while. While you're egg washing, I can kind of show you what we do with the shells. The vanilla is a little bit softer, so I'll start with that. But you treat it just like a tortilla.
Okay.
But without the plastic, we just use like little squares of parchment. So little concha round in between the pieces of paper. And then we just squish down to get to the good, yeah, we can go a little bit bigger. Okay. And then we take our top piece of paper off. You ready for a shell?
Yep.
Okay. You just like slap it on there.
I see. So the cut comes after you place it on top.
It does, yeah. And you want to do it while the shell is soft.
Okay.
But you just like hit it.
Oh, wow.
That's it. Isn't that cool?
That
I
is
didn't know how
fun.
to do this till I was like 30 years old. Yeah.
Can you talk about the cutter a little bit?
Yeah, it's just a custom made cutter that I found on like Etsy. You can find them all over the place.
cool.
Yeah, some are plastic. I really prefer the metal because they're a little bit sharper. They last
And is it
longer.
double-sided or it's
It
just...
is. Then you have this cool random pattern that you can mess with as well.
Awesome.
You can use a knife if you don't have this. Totally cool. But this just makes my life easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I was egg washing,
Yeah.
not looking.
Yeah,
you
just
give it a
put-
quick little...
No, not even. Just put that piece of paper down.
Okay.
Yeah, then you want to check it, see where it's at. It can be a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Okay.
I like to slap it on with the parchment. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
slap the whole thing on, and then you can peel the parchment. Yes, that's a good shell.
You give it like a quick...
Yeah, you can do either way. You can do it like, I prefer to do it a little bit faster, like to like this, and then do like a little bit of a release.
Okay. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
A little bit harder.
Okay, I'm gonna try to line it up.
Or like, Okay, there we go. That's looking good.
Oh, the next one will be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty good because you see mine, like because I do it like so from the top and kind of fast, I don't always get all the way to the edges. So that's pretty great.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. I need a little more practice on the cutter, but we're just gonna get them all covered with the shell.
Nice. Damn. All right. Well, yeah, that's great.
All right, my first,
Yeah.
my first shell.
And if you're like, oh, it's starting to stick too much, we can use a little bit of flour to
Okay.
dip the like
On the
cutter
cutter?
in, or like spray it with a little bit of like Pam or something like that. We can also do that.
This is really fun.
Isn't it fun? We like do hundreds of these in the morning, and we're all like, it feels less fun when you've got a bunch to do and like shells are like tempering on the table.
14 are really fun.
Yeah, but it's like really nice to have this reminder that this is a really like special thing. This is how we do it in the mornings, though. One person places them on there, the other person
The other
stamps.
stamps.
At like 5 in the morning.
Wow. That was way faster.
Okay, let's see. This one you have to give a little bit more.
More force for
A
the
little more
chocolate.
force, yeah. Okay, so now we'll want to like you can put saran wrap, or we have these like really awesome like plastic lids that we put on it.
I love
so
the half sheet
they're
lids.
great, and you can stack. It's amazing. So we'll do that and just let them hang out at room temp or like a oven with the oven light on or the pilot turned up a little bit for an hour and a half to 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So these are going to go to proof, and then but you also have ones that you set up earlier this morning.
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. These are ones that you set up this morning.
Yes.
That are just about done proofing. Okay. So talk about the different flavors and colors, and they look so good.
What I love about like being an adult making conchas is that we get to make them a little bit more hours. You know what I mean? So we're in winter, we have a bunch of citrus. So we have a citrus shell. I'm obsessed with turmeric, so we made a golden milk shell. red berry, which is like classic. It's strawberry and raspberry freeze-dried powder. The kind of like weird one, which I think is becoming like a cult classic, is brown butter lavender.
Ooh.
We love corn around here, so we have a corn and canela with our chocolate conchas. Matcha and moringa. This is so many flavors. I'm sorry. Matcha and moringa. My parents grow moringa in their backyard, so they'll like grind some up for us and bring it in. It's like really similar to matcha, so they flow really well together. And then a classic cocoa shell.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And all the color is just from the ingredients. It's like not, you're not adding food coloring or anything.
We don't do no artificial food dye around here. There's like so many beautiful vegetables and flowers that like provide all of the color for us.
Right.
So we don't need it.
I do love like a freeze-dried berry.
Yeah,
it's like
me too.
Such a great baking tool.
Yeah.
And like so concentrated in flavor.
Exactly. Yeah, I always go with freeze-dried over like dehydrated or anything like that.
One thing I realized like the more that I bake is I think that like everybody is underproofing everything that they bake.
Yeah.
Including myself.
Yeah.
So like how do you
I'm guilty of that, yeah.
how do you know that you're there with the proof?
Okay, so we're looking to have like some nice jiggle. Temperature matters, what type of flour you're using also matters. I'm looking for a little bit of a jiggle. If you poke any opening, it should kind of just like stay. So these are ready.
Yeah, it totally depends on like the dough and your environment. You have to know how it works when you make it, but is it like a doubled in size?
Definitely doubled, and then I like put these in a warm oven with the pilot turned up. So these took like an hour and a half. This is as fast as it gets, at least for me. The chocolate, because we use that beautiful Mexican chocolate in it, it weighs it down a little bit more. So those won't grow as much. You can tell they're a little bit smaller, but they've been proofing for the same amount of time.
Cool.
So you will also get less jiggle on this.
And the oven is how hot?
325 convection oven. If you're running without convection, do 350.
Got it. And you said the bake is super fast, like 10 minutes?
10 to 11 minutes.
That's very gratifying.
Yeah. So we'll run them in the middle, set it for 5, rotate, and then do 5 more minutes.
Cool.
Sometimes they need another minute. We'll check them in the middle, see if they like bounce back real fast.
Sometimes I feel like it's bad juju to look at them too soon in the oven.
Really?
Well, it's like in a home oven where it's like you have to turn the light on.
True that. Yeah, it's like something could go wrong. Well, we can definitely just stare at them here.
Right, okay. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Oh, they smell so good.
Yeah, and you can tell that the chocolate grow a little bit less, but I think like having chocolate in your food is totally worth it.
Yeah.
Just like that. Yeah, we'll do this one first.
Oh,
there we go. Yeah, and then 5 more minutes.
So that was another 5?
That was another 5.
Okay.
And we're gonna open it up and like touch the center, sorry, and see if it's bouncing back nicely. We want a little bit of color, but not too much color, because conchas are like notorious for being kind of dry. So we want to make sure that we don't hit that point.
No over baking.
No over baking. We've got some nice toastiness on it. I'm gonna push it and it should come right back up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just there.
Like
it's nice and stable.
Beautiful light golden brown.
Exactly.
They smell so good.
Yes.
Gosh.
It's just fresh bread. They're not too sweet. The shell is like nice and crunchy.
And they must cool pretty fast, right? Because they're so like airy.
Yeah, we always like run these super close to opening time and just like put them out hot like this.
Do you feel like conchas are one of those things, kind of like a croissant, where it's like you want to eat them freshly baked, or like a scone?
I don't think so. I don't think it's like a fine wine, but it does kind of change throughout the day because it's got so much butter in it, because it's got like whole grain flour in it. It like can change throughout the day, but it doesn't need to be eaten hot, because if the concha is made well, it doesn't necessarily need to be right out of the oven, be super fresh.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we should let these cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give them like 20-ish minutes or so. Yeah.
Cool.
Let
All
the like crumbs set, you know?
Yeah, we can brew some coffee or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Some chocolate. More chocolate.
Yeah. I love how the shell patterns come out, and then sometimes you get like separation.
Totally.
And sometimes it stays that like those perfect lines.
Yeah, which like totally depends on what you're putting in the shell, right? So like the red berry, like the fruit powder, like is a whole nother thing. The golden milk has got a bit of coconut oil in it, so it definitely like spreads. Brown butter, like cooking out a bit of the water from it, like makes it act differently, right? So yeah, so they're all like their own individual beautiful things.
Like, of all the ones, which one are you, what's your like favorite? Or does it change? I'm sure it changes.
Yeah, it always, yeah. You know, I'm pretty moody, so like it always changes. I love eating the red berry in the morning with a cup of coffee because I feel like the fruitiness really balances like a black cup of coffee.
I kind of want to try the brown butter.
Yeah, actually, that's like my second favorite.
Is that's
brown
one?
butter.
Okay. And the color, you can tell. It's like this is not.
It's not
a
white
flour.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Which
excited.
like white flour is cool too. It
serves
cool.
a purpose.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But it's just, I just like this. It's
It
just a
smells
preference.
so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it smells delicious.
And you can like put stuff in the dough. You can, you know, put in all kinds of spices or flavors that you want to incorporate. But I just love a really classic brioche.
It's so good. I love.
Nervous.
Oh my god, don't be nervous. Are you kidding? I love that like gentle crunch from the shell.
Yeah, it's nice texture, and I think, and they do soften up for next day. But that's why I like to actually keep them in the fridge if I'm trying to eat it the next day, because it preserves the butter and keeps it crunchy.
They're so good.
But the texture is really nice. You just have the difference between crunch and soft, really fluffy.
I love the silkiness
Good bite. I don't know.
of the crumb.
Yeah,
So good. Not too sweet, like the perfect sweetness.
always.
Yeah.
Like we like bring our sugar down and everything like as much as possible
Totally.
because it just like overtakes. I feel like it gets in the way of things actually shining if
For
you
sure.
like put too much sugar in it.
Right. It's like, I mean, it's similar to salt where it's like sugar is a flavor enhancer to a point.
Totally.
And then after that, it just kills it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love the topping. They're so
Yeah, we love
good.
that brown butter lavender. It's like kind of weird, but it just, especially for cold weather, I think it's a perfect one.
Here. Do you get tired of eating it?
No.
No. Good.
We could have baked it maybe 30 seconds less.
You think so?
Maybe.
Oh, 30 seconds
yeah,
less.
30
Okay.
seconds less.
I mean, they have that beautiful, they're beautifully golden on the bottom.
Yeah.
Also, it's like anything brioche or bun is like, it's so light for
Stable.
its size.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to try this at home and like develop my own flavors for that shell. Super inspired by the like fruit powder and you said this was matcha and what was the other?
Moringa.
Oh, moringa. Oh my gosh, so good. I love that when I'm on the road, which isn't like really a thing I do that much, but we're hoping to do more, I get to learn from other bakers because there's so many things, even down to like small little motions and like tiny little ingredient additions and variations in mixing. Like there's so much you can learn. So thank you so much for having me. I love that I know how to make Conchas now.
Yeah.
So a huge highlight of our trip to Austin. So
You can come visit us and work with us anytime you'd like.
thank you so much. This is a treat. So if any like folks are either live in Austin or visiting, tell us more about the bakery and like when and where can they find you?
Yeah, we are open right now Fridays through Sundays, 9 through 3 p.m. We're just kind of like expanding our operations right now, trying to be really intentional about it. But yeah, we're open those days. We've got a full case, some hot coffee, some hot chocolate, all the good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That's how I end. I'm really bad at ending videos, so that's just what I say because it's like a really easy way to end it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.